We got breaking news.
Breaking news. What do you got?
The Texas Senate has officially passed the new U.S. House maps. They could, if the House passes it, it's got to go to the Texas House. They could pick up 5 seats, and Democrats lose 5 seats.
Yeah, but the House are the people who have disappeared in other cities, so if they don't get them back, they'll never be able to pass the bill.
How can you have a legislator where the people don't show up, the duly elected? How can they not kick them out of office if they don't show up to do their job?
Legally, I believe they can.
Because at Georgia Assembly, you got to show up for a certain amount of days.
Right. The problem is they can do it, but then there will be a lawsuit to say that they were unfairly whatever, and therefore goes through the court process. So who knows how long this is going to take?
They're not doing what they were elected to do.
That's right.
Show up.
They already cut off their pay. They can't collect their pay automatically. They have to go physically get a paycheck.
Well, they probably don't need the money. They're only there, once every 2 years.
Yeah. But still, I mean, it's just but here we go. I mean, here we go.
This breaks down government. It breaks down everything if they don't show up to do their job.
Right.
If they don't like something, they just don't show up.
Right.
Then you don't have a government at that point.
Yeah. Elections have consequences. Remember, the Democrats were all set to keep using that and throw it in somebody's face every time it did them good. Well, elections have consequences, so show up and do your job and take the consequences.
And how can they not pass a national law against gerrymandering? It can only stretch so much to the west and east and so much to the north and south. It has to be it continuously through a certain amount of counties. It cannot snake around like they're doing. That's a joke. That makes a joke of this so-called democracy.
Well, let me ask you a very basic question. I'm going to go right down like as a third grader. When you are states get the number of representatives in Congress. Every state gets 2 senators. States get the number of congressmen, we say, based on their population. The more people you have, the more congressmen you get to represent, and the state is divided into the districts for the number of congressmen that you get. So let's say the state, to make everything, let's say your state is deserving of 10 congressmen.
Your state is deserving of 10.
That's not what I mean when I say let's say it. My God, man. I always do this. I'm saying, Mr. Smarty Pants, that your state gets 10 congressmen. So why don't they just divide the state into 10 square sections, and every congressperson gets if he has 50 people living in there, that's one thing. If he has 10,000, I mean, in other words, who is supposed to decide where the people are living and why the map should change in any direction?
That's like an electoral college for a state.
Right. Well, okay. Yeah. Why should they snake a line in geographically to go collect people?
Right. I agree.
Just make 10 squares, and each guy gets a square, and you may have 1 million people, you may have 7. I mean, seriously, why is that wrong?
It's not wrong.
Why are districts drawn based on anything other than to get where the people are? In other words, let's say a western state like Montana, where there's very few people for 3/4 of the state. Therefore, obviously, if you have 4 Congress people, you should divide it up for the places that have the most people to be represented. On the other hand, you shouldn't be allowed to just snake it around to try to get certain specific members of a specific community. But it doesn't make any sense. Why do they do it that way? Why don't they just make 10 blocks and everybody gets a thing?
How about this? We elect senators statewide, right? But congressmen is for districts.
Right.
Okay, how many do you think we got in Georgia? How many congress
what do we have? 9, 7, 8, 9,
I'd 10? Say, okay, we got 9.
Yeah,
okay, whatever. We got 9. Let's make it 10 to make it even. Right. Everybody wants to run for Congress, run.
Right.
We take the top 10, and there are Congress people.
Well, but who do they represent?
They represent the whole state.
Well, but that's the senator.
See, the Congress people go in there, they're representing the whole state anyway, really.
Well, but that's what senators do. I mean, you have to represent the districts, but again, who's to determine who originally is supposed to make the district?
It's very simple. If you live in the mountains and you run and you're one of the 10 that win, then you're going to basically concentrate on getting stuff for the mountains.
Right. But
and
that's your
someone in
district.
Savannah is going to get there. You're going to concentrate on that, and that's your district.
Right.
Even though you're for the whole state, that's who you're going to concentrate on. Savannah's going to concentrate on Savannah if you're from Savannah.
Yeah,
if you're from Atlanta. Now, the problem with that is everybody from Atlanta is going to run, and they'll probably be the top 10.
Yeah.
So that means everybody, they'll all be Democrats.
Well, that's why you have districts, so you can't have people overwhelming with all the population.
Right.
So anyway, but again, my question really is, who determines where those districts are supposed to be drawn in the first place? Why isn't it just done with, geographically?
AI. How about let's make it fair. Let's AI do it. Let's let the robots do it. And have three different. Have Grok, GPT, AI, OpenAI. So you don't have one. You have three decide what the district lines will be. No more gerrymandering. Basically, they're blocks. They're blocks.
In fact, what are the districts supposed to represent? A district is supposed to have a number of people who live there, but is it now? In other words, is a district divided right through? Tuxedo Park in Atlanta.
Yes. They do them right through neighborhoods.
Okay, but so again, I mean that's fine. But if you're squirreling around trying to find places that whoever thought that was ever legal?
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It should have been thrown out the first time someone did it. Was the gerrymander? It was a Massachusetts guy, a politician who did it.
His name was Jerry, I think, and they
something like that. Yeah.
Anyway, this seems like a very basic problem, which obviously is
humans
too complicated.
Can't do it. Humans can't do it now because obviously we can't. With the gerrymandering, it shows humans can't handle this. Make three different AIs and let them have the fairest map. Where it's blocks. It's not snakes all up and down.
Again,
blocks.
Let me ask you this. What is a fair congressional district? In other words, what is an unfair district? What's a fair district? If one place has almost all black people, then is it unfair to have a person representing those almost black people? No, if that's their section. But again,
I think
what does fair mean?
A computer could figure out
divided?
Population. Which means
that's all it should be divided.
All of Atlanta wouldn't be one thing because you got to split Atlanta up. There has to be it's like Berlin. It's got to be a north, south, east, and west.
But it should be just population, not race and creed and religion or anything else.
Exactly.
So how hard is it to divide up a freaking state based strictly on the population?
It really isn't that hard.
It shouldn't be that difficult.
But you know what makes it difficult? The parties. The parties is what makes it. And that's what's wrong with our government. It's not the actual form of government we have. It's the Republican and Democrat corrupt parties that are screwing everything up.
If it's just based on population, that can't be a hard problem to solve.